So, yesterday was the 53rd day of protests in the city of Elizabeth City over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. Hold the phone. Okay, so, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do a Twitter thread because I really just, yesterday I was very disappointed. I'm just gonna put that, out there. So, we had a group of religious people bus in, what they told us there would be 500, right? And then there was only about 200 to 300, which is still a good amount of people. So they bust a bunch of people in to Elizabeth City to do this march, but they heavily regulated this march, and that's why I didn't like it. So they were being very, 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 they were you see people with the orange vests on, right? They handed out orange vests, right? And they wanted people to keep people in line. You know what? Okay, so and not only that, these people told us that we could not do certain chants. So we've got a lot of classic chants, right, that involve, swear words. And every time someone were to start one, they had someone tap on their shoulder, hey, don't do that. And there's also, I saw at least 15 cameras. Big ass, we're talking about the size of my goddamn upper body, right? Big ass cameras on people's shoulders. For this little PR stunt. And they all left after this fake march. They all left, and then when the real protest started, I was the only person with a camera again, and that's I resent that really hard. So, so I got video of all of this, but I didn't post it on Twitter because my thing was I didn't know what to post. I didn't know how to go on Twitter and say this is what we're doing because it was cringy, it was embarrassing, and I didn't want any part of it. Right, so it's I'm just gonna be honest. I'm at the point where I'm at this point where it's I don't even care. These religious people came into our city and tried to dictate how we can and can't protest. So here's a video. If you watch it, you'll notice people are in lines, spaced out 6 or so feet apart, and people kept drifting. Right, the lines kept drifting, and then they had the hall monitors, right, try to break up the lines. Right, and or not break up the lines, but get people back in line, and it was really bizarre. It was super strange. And then also, as you can see, look at these big ass cameras. And then also, right, you see this kid here? They were treating him he was I get it, he's cute, he's adorable, but this motherfucker's been here almost, this guy comes 4 or 5 times a week. You know what I mean? And so they kept throwing a bunch of cameras in his face and telling him to do certain chants and stuff, and then getting mad when he would do other things. And I thought that was super disrespectful. But again, we had a lot of people here, and I want to point out that this is why I'm pretty pissed off, is because they bust in several hundred people for what I perceive to be a photo op, and then they left before the protest. This was not, I would not consider this a protest. Right, this was a very planned photo op. They wouldn't let us say certain things. They tried to control the message. They tried to control the narrative, and then it gets even worse. It gets even worse. So now again, if you want to bus in X amount of people, right, that's great, right? But when you're trying to dictate things, I get a little upset, and so I just wanted to be very, I want to be very open about that, because I was thinking. Throughout this entire charade, I was thinking, how am I going to spin this? I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to spin this? How is this a good thing? What the hell is going on? And this is keep in mind, we're at 15 minutes into the march here, right? Oh, by the way, I have one of the orange vests. One of my buddies gave one to me because they didn't they were given the orange vest and told to be a hall monitor, and they didn't want to do that. And I was like, can I have it? So I put it on. Now. We marched toward Andrew Brown's house, and one of the problems that I had is normally when we march to Andrew Brown's house, we take the main road, this road right here. You see this crosswalk, right? This crosswalk is Ehringhaus, right? All the way down there. Now, we normally take Erringhouse because it is the busiest road in Elizabeth City. And especially if we're having, like, again, if we're doing the 3 people at a line, and I'm going to be honest, they only did that to make the numbers look bigger. That's what they did, because they took front-facing photos, and so you can't see that there's, like, 10 feet between each, like, so that's why they did that, right? We overheard a bunch of the religious people talk about, like, how to get the best angles for photos, just throwing that out there, right? So, instead of taking Erringhouse, the road that we take all the time to shut shit down, they funnel us through the back of Elizabeth City. Like, roads that no one is on. Roads that no one, like, and I was so baffled. I was confused by this, right? But I was willing, to see where it goes. Okay, so we're not taking Erringhouse. Where the fuck are we going? Okay, so we're going down this street. And so we're going down, like, a back street, which, again, if we're chanting and we're, like, saying, get out of your house, get into the street, that's one thing. But around this point, all the religious people start telling us we're going to have a moment of silence. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Who was doing the dictating? There was just a bunch of religious nutbags. I don't know if they were all with Reverend Barber, but, like, there was just a bunch of religious fucking weirdos. They kept trying to, like, go around and tell people to be quiet and ask them why they're cursing and tell them to stop cursing because the cameras are on. I'm just like... So they told us that we're going to do a moment of silence, right? Whatever the fuck that means. So they didn't want us to speak at all on this road here. And I got another video. So as you can see, they just, like, they just didn't let us, like, every time someone, like, was even just having conversations relatively loudly, I mean, just... The picture doesn't capture the depression here. I was saying I should take a picture because, like, taking a video is, like, everyone's quiet. But my problem is, like, everyone's talking to each other. Everyone's, like, whispering to each other. Like, because I was going up and down the whole thing because I had the camera on, right? And so I was going up and down the lines, and everyone was talking to each other about why are we not chanting? Why are we in the back road? No one can see us. No one can hear us. What are we doing? Why are we letting them do this? Like, and that's what I was going up and down, and everyone was talking about that. I don't want to expose people's private conversations here, but, like, it was so bizarre. It was strange. It was so weird. Right, and again, now, if we would have done a silent march, let's say, on a road that's not, like, half surrounded by fucking, like, look at this, no one saw this. And that's why I'm so upset, is because this was not a protest, this was a photo op, right? They wanted to take the photos, have the nice background in the photos. They wanted to have the religious people with their little scarves up front, and they wanted to, like, do all this stupid ass bullshit. And again, people, like, were on a bus for several hours for this bullshit. And I was talking to a lot of them, and a lot of them said that they were pissed the fuck off that they were bussed in for this and for this, right? And so we do this long-ass moment of silence at a road where no one can see us. Now, again, if we would have done this moment of silence, let's say on the busiest road, we would have done a moment of silence, right? And did, like, a silent march all the way down the main road where everyone has to see us and we all have our signs or whatever. That would be brilliant. But my problem was they funneled us through this back road for whatever reason, and then people just went along with it, right? And then they told us we couldn't chant. They told us what we could and could not chant. They said we couldn't use swear words in our chants, and that just pissed me the fuck off. And again, look, when I say that pissed me off, I want to say that I am speaking on behalf of many people right now. Right? Like, almost everyone who I spoke to that, like, lives here and has been to the protests, like, not every day, but, like, as often as they can, almost 99% of them, with maybe one or two exceptions, said that this was bogus nonsense. And so I want to be very clear. They did this, and they did this nice ceremony at Andrew's house. And I want to say that this was a very nice ceremony where they were laying wreaths at the house and stuff. And that was genuinely, like, if that were, just constructed better. I mean, I like that, right? And that's my problem, is they take this weird shit. So this is a half an hour long video. So This is us marching back, again, through the back roads for no reason. Now, on the march back, we were discussing, we had to liven the energy up a little bit. And so we were discussing, what chants we can and can't do. And so we sent, we did some. So we tried not to use the swear words, right? Because we didn't want to upset the religious people too much. That said, we kept doing a bunch of chants about how bad police are. And I did see a couple of the religious people get uncomfortable. Like, religious people are fine saying no justice, no peace, but they're not fine with no racist police. And that's, like, the part that's, like, really strange about this. This was organized separately. Yes, Anastasia in the chat. This was organized separately from the regular protests. And that's why I'm just pissed the fuck off. So what we did, and I'm going to get into this. So we did this in the morning, and then they did this quote-unquote rally, and then we did a real protest afterward, right? And my problem is they bust in almost 300 people or so, right, for this photo op, and they all left before the actual protest. During the actual protest, we had maybe like 25-ish people. I don't remember because I was pretty drunk, but that being said, I have video of it, so we'll see. You sent me $15. Let me verify this. I have gotten it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, we get back to the waterfront at this point, which is where this rally is. Now, I've got a question. If we're going to do a rally, what is the better spot for a rally if we're here to protest the government? You speak with a megaphone in the middle of the busiest street in the entire city, maybe just like stand in the middle of the busiest intersection in the entire city, right? So you do that, or you go off in no man's land in Fucksville, where no one can fucking see you or hear you. And then, on top of that, I want to be very honest, like, people were leaving during this rally. The rally was so goddamn boring that half the people left, right? Like I want y'all to like understand that like there were like at least 200 people, right? And look at this. There's so many people here, right? And then I'm just gonna skip to this video, right? Okay, this is actually us. I guess I didn't record any of that. Okay, never mind. I didn't record any of that. Okay, so over the course of this bullshit rally, at least half the people left. Bare minimum, at least half the people left. And it was boring. They had a bunch of motherfuckers come up there talking about how, like, Jesus is going to solve racism. And I'm going to tell you this right now. There was a religious nutbag event on Thursday. Right-wing megachurch Trump supporters held a religious event. And they were out there screaming, "The Holy Ghost will end racism." Right? And I'm going to let you know, this had totally synchronistic vibes to me. The right-wing megachurch Trump supporters versus whatever the fuck was going on yesterday, they almost felt identical to me, right? It was, oh, you can't say fuck in your chants. That's mean. If you chant about how the police are murderers, that's rude, and I won't endorse that because that's rude. What? The police killed someone. Second of all, it's not Elizabeth City police. It's actually the sheriffs that are the only problem. And this is my other problem. Is on Friday, the day before yesterday, we almost got hit by a car because a police officer did not do their job and they did not properly block the street in front of us. I got it on camera. If you want to go look at it, it's in yesterday's video. But the day after we almost get hit by a car, when there's 10 of us in the rain, we have these religious nutbags go up there and talk about how ECPDs are friends and how really it's the sheriff's department that are to blame and no one else. And that's my problem, is that we have these vultures, these parasites, these losers and vampires come in from out of town, right, do a giant photo op, right, and then try to manipulate our narrative and our message. No, bitch. All cops are garbage, not just the sheriff's department, but including the Elizabeth City Police Department. And that's one of my problems, is they came in here, first of all, they said you can't say fuck 12, you can't say fuck, you can't say shit, you can't say no racist police, because not all police are racist, right? And then they make us go through the back roads, through no man's land, and then, it's ridiculous. It was a giant clusterfuck. So I want to be very clear, I got drunk, right? One of my friends, provided me with something that they probably should not have, and I got drunk. So during the entirety of the second protest, I was drunk as hell. But I want to be very, like, look at the crowd for the second protest. This is the actual protest where we're going up and down Airing House. Look at this. Do you see 200 people here? Do you see 200 people here? No. I see about 20. Now, there's some people on this bus. I don't know what the hell was going on with this bus. I don't know if everyone was on the bus and they were all just not marching with us. Or, I don't know what the fuck was going on with this bus. But do you see 200 people? And this is my problem. This is my problem. Okay? If they bust in 200 people and then we did their little PR photo op stunt, right? And then we did a real protest and they provided their 200 people, I wouldn't have been nearly as upset. Right? But the idea that everyone left, right? Before the second actual, the first actual protest, but the second march, right? The idea that everyone left because, one, the rally was boring and no one cared. And then, two, Jesus Christ, like, I'm serious, the rally was fucking boring. God damn it, you had to have been there. 3, what the fuck were they talking about? And 4, they didn't tell anyone that a second protest was happening. We had planned this second march after this. In fact, I'm going to be honest. It was my idea. Without my intervention, this second protest wouldn't have happened. Right? And here's the thing that made me pissed off. Was because, like, I had said on, like, Tuesday that I wanted to do a second march, like, after the rally. Because the whole point of a rally is to get people energized. And then, once you're energized, you go off and march. I don't understand this. Oh, we're going to do a silent march. And then when we do allow you to speak, you can't say fuck. And then we do a rally and then we go home? That's not logical. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Do the rally, then the march. Do the rally, say, you know, all cops are bastards. We need to abolish the police department. We need justice for Andrew Brown. Let's go march in the street. And then we all march in the street. We're all fucking hopped up and energized. This shit was garbage. It was garbage, right? And then during the entire rally, I had people come up to, like, I was asking, like, who's staying for the second march? And everyone that was, like, busting was like, there's going to be a second march? Question mark? There's going to be a second march? What do you mean? They didn't know. Because the religious nutbags didn't tell them. They knew, but the religious nutbags didn't fucking tell them anything. So I'm going to be honest. I was, like, really drunk. Like, as this, oh my God, Lord have mercy. As the second march was continuing, again, here's a good shot of me in the back here. And again, do you see 200 people? Do you see 200 motherfucking people? I don't. We got 200 people do a silent march in the backwoods where no man's land is for a fucking photo op. But when it actually comes to protesting the government, they were gone. And that's not necessarily the fault of the people that were bussed in, because again, it was either stay for an additional 2 hours to march and figure out how to travel 3 hours home, or get that safe ride back to your house. You know what I mean? And that's why I was so fucking mad, is because we had planned ahead of time a second march, and then during the moment, they were like, there's not going to be a second march. Some of the people came up to me, and I asked them, like, are you going to be here? Like, I'm talking about some of the organizers, you know, with the religious people, and they're like, no, there's not going to be a second march. And I said, yeah, there is. And they're like, well, we're not going to be there. And I'm like, right? And I was just like, and we have someone in the chat, 2AV Liak. I'm sorry, 2AV Liak. I don't know how to pronounce your username. I'm sorry. But you came up to me during the rally because you heard me like bitching. I was unfiltered. I was in the back of the fucking rally because like I was getting loud and I was getting upset, and the people I was talking to were like, you know, this is bullshit. And I kept like trying to walk around and get people's opinions, and everyone kept telling me that it was ridiculous bullshit. And then so I was just like, I'm in the back of the crowd, I'm just screaming like, this is boring, no one cares. And then people keep like walking out of the rally and they're going home. Like, they're literally going home, and I'm like, look, they're leaving because it's so boring. I'm in the back of the rally. I'm like, no one gives a fuck about God. Fuck Jesus. Look, that family of 8 is leaving because this is boring. Look, and then I was, like, pointing at them as they were, like, walking across like, into their cars or whatever. I'm like, they're leaving because this shit's boring. No one cares. Right? And so, and I'm going to be, and this is my opinion. And I don't want to say that this was representative of everyone that lives in Elizabeth City. This was representative of me personally, as well as several people that I spoke to. And I want to say it's a super majority of folks that I have spoke to that have been here regularly throughout the protests that actually live here, right? It is like at least 80 to 90% of people that were dissatisfied with yesterday. And, like, that's not to say that, like, dissatisfied means you hated the entire thing. Like, me personally, I thought the whole thing was stupid. There were some people that were like, I thought some of the speeches were pretty good. I'm going to be honest, I didn't listen to some of the speeches, right? Because they were pissing me off so much, I didn't want to listen to that shit, right? I would just tune in sometimes, and it would be like, Jesus will set the... And I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm tuning out again, right? Because, like, it was bullshit. It was dumb, right? Look at me. I try to hold this camera, by the way. By the way, I just want to, like, I don't remember what I drank yesterday, but so, like, one of my friends gave me some alcohol, and I don't remember what I drank. But I drank a lot, and it was pretty good. And so by the time that we're getting back here, I was plastered. I barely remember it. Like, when I woke up this morning, I was, like, watching some of the videos and that I recorded, and I was like, okay, all right. So I didn't fall down. That's a win. But, no, I thought that the second march, from what I can remember, was relatively standard. It was good, and it made me feel like the day wasn't useless. But, like, again, I am very, 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 very dissatisfied with what happened yesterday. And I was trying to, like, the whole day before I started getting drunk, right? I was trying in my brain. I was racking my brain. How do I spin this into a win? How is this possibly going to look good tomorrow? And I came to the conclusion that there is nothing I can say that would make this look any better than it was, because it was garbage. Like all of that religious nutbag ceremony shit was shit. It was garbage. It was trash. Yo, like, look, this is look at this. This is me on the way back. But again, you don't see 200 people here, do you? You don't see 200 motherfucking people here. I see 20, if that, because there's a couple people behind me. I don't see fucking 200 people. Why are we busing in 200 people? I gotta turn that off. But why are we busing in 200 people for a fucking photo op, and then they leave before the and I don't want to, like, you know, make it seem like I hate anyone, because I don't hate anyone. I wish that they would have told us this shit ahead of time. And here's the thing, this moment of silence bullshit that they wanted us to do on the back road where no one could see us and then no one could hear us, right? They, according to them, they came up with that like 10 minutes like beforehand. They were like, oh, we should do a moment of silence. And then they just did that. It was just so stupid. It was so stupid. And I gotta be honest, the whole thing was just, it was ridiculous. And it was embarrassing. The key word here that I can come up with that I keep going back to is embarrassing. This was embarrassing, right? Because again, the day before, we almost get hit by a car, right? And then you have a bunch of religious nutbags giving fist bumps to the cops, going up there talking about how it's not EC police, it's the sheriffs. The day after EC police almost get us killed because they don't do their jobs, we have these fucking stupid-ass religious weirdos. Fist bump! Woo! Don't say fuck 12. That's rude. No racist police? Do you mean no racist sheriffs? And I'm just like, I'll be honest. Like, I considered not going back out. Like, if the second protest didn't happen, I would have probably given up. I really genuinely, like, I was so close to just saying fuck this and fuck them. Because, I was just so disappointed. But, I mean, you know, that's one of the reasons why we are dwindling in numbers. Is because, like, we're not doing anything that interesting. And anytime we have numbers, it's not like they're busing in 200 people to support our protest. They're busing in 200 people to then go, shh, shh, don't say fuck, the cameras are on, shh. Blue lives matter? That's not nice. Shh. And I'm just like, I didn't want to cause a scene. I think I caused the scene because I was pretty plastered, but I didn't want to. But I'm pretty sure I did. But either way, a lot of people that I spoke to were just as mad as I was. And so I don't really feel too bad about it, but I'm telling you this right now, folks, that we are going to have to seriously organize way better. And I'm telling you, like, and that's already been set up, right? Text messages have been sent. I made a lot of phone calls last night. And when I say a lot, I mean like single digit number, but still, you know, it's a relatively large amount compared to making 0 phone calls, which is my average because I have no friends. So I made a lot of phone calls last night once I was sober, sent a lot of text messages. And the consensus is that this was bullshit and we're not going to let it happen again. So, now if the religious nutbags want to come back, right? All right. But if they want to tell us what to do, I'm sorry. No, go fuck yourself. I will sooner jump into traffic than listen to your bitch ass tell me not to say fuck 12. I'm sorry, but that's not happening. But anyway, and also I want to bake this in. A lot of people's excuses were, oh, but they're going to get national news. Okay. What's the national news? In fact, let's look it up. I'm going to search Elizabeth City. Let's see what news pops up. People also ask, is Elizabeth City a safe place to live? Let's go through news. All right. So guess what? I see one article. Local news has one article that I can find. Wow. Isn't that awesome? One article. So people are telling me, oh, we're going to get mainstream news again. They're going to cover us, okay? Cover us doing what? You know what I mean? Like, if anything, like, again, all the big cameras there, it's embarrassing. That shit's embarrassing. And what is this shit in this article? Demonstrations have been going on most days since Brown's death. Every day, thank you. So not only are we out here protesting every day, but the religious people giving interviews don't even know that we've been out here every day. Yeah, this is making me even more mad. I don't know if it's the main, like the media or the religious people, but how is an article going to say that we take breaks when I've been there every single day? And, you know, I just hate religion. I mean, I hate religious people at this point. Like, I just hate them. They're garbage and they're useless. Like, I don't know what else to say, but they're fucking useless. Alright, here's ABC has an article. Yo, ABC's article says, look at this. Dozens marched from Pasquotank County Public Safety. Dozens? We had 200 people there, and the mainstream media is going to say dozens. That's so funny. We had dozens at the end of it, when the cameras weren't there. And also, okay, it's in the news. First of all, everyone knows what's going on in Elizabeth City. Oh, we're in the news because a bunch of religious people are there? Okay, you know what this is? This is a story that you do this to. You don't read this story. No one reads this story. The only reason this story exists is because Diane Wilson had a quota to fill. Right? You know what people are going to do when they see this? They're going to go, because no one cares. This isn't interesting. No one gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. So, alright, ABC talked about us. And? So, like, I'm just pissed the fuck off. And, I want, you know, not everyone wants to be those people that goes out there and tells, you know, people the problems. But, I mean, and I don't want to, you know, there's a lot of other things I could talk about that that I don't want to make public, but yeah, I mean, fuck that shit. Fuck them. Fuck them in the face. I really, honestly, just like fuck them in the face several times. And when you're done fucking them in the face, find someone else to fuck them in the face.